हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। जन्मादस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकम् सत्यं परं धीमहि। धर्मप्रोजितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदम् तापत्रयोन्मूलनम्। श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्योरिद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तत्क्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतम् शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतम् पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुका। स वै पुंसां परो धर्मो यतो भक्तिरधोक्षजे अह अहैतुक्यप्रतिहता ययात्मा सुप्रसीदति। वदन्ति तत्तत्त्वविदस्तत्त्वं यज्ञानम् अद्वयम् ब्रह्मेति परमात्मेति भगवानिति शब्दते। अतः पुंभिर्द्विजश्रेष्ठा वर्णाश्रमविभागशः स्वनुष्ठितस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर्हरितोषणम्। एते चांशकला पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयम् इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे। तद्वाग्विसर्गो जनतागविप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकमबद्धवत्यपि नामानन्तस्य यशोऽङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः। यस्यां वै श्रूयमाणायां कृष्णे परमपुरुषे भक्तिरुत्पद्यते पुंसः शोकमोहभयापहा। आत्मारामश्च मुनयो निर्ग्रन्था पुरुक्रमे कुर्वन्तः हेतु किं भक्तिम् इत्थं भूतगुणो हरिः। त्वयिमनन्यविषया मतिर्मधुपते सकृत् रतिम् उद्वहता दद्धा गङ्गेवौघम् उदन्वती। उद्दामभावपिशुनामलवल्गुहास व्रीडावलोकनिहतो मदनोऽपि यासाम् सम्मूह्य चापमजहात् प्रमदोत्तमास्ता यस्येन्द्रियं विमथितुं कुहकैर्न शेकुः। भवद्विधा भागवतास्तीर्थभूता स्वयं विभो तीर्थीकुर्वन्ति तीर्थाणि स्वान्तस्तेन गदाभृता। तुलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवम् भगवत्सङ्गिसङ्गस्य मर्त्यानां किमुताशिषः। तिरस्कृता विप्रलब्धा शप्ता क्षिप्ता हता अपि नास्य तत्प्रतिकुर्वन्ति तद्भक्ता प्रभवोऽपि। पुनश्च भूयात् भगवदनन्ते रतिप्रसङ्गश्च तदाश्रयेषु महत्सु याम्यामुपयामि सृष्टिं मैत्रस्तु सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः। एतावान् साङ्ख्ययोगाभ्यां स्वधर्मपरिनिष्ठया जन्मलाभः परपुंसाम् अन्ते नारायणस्मृतिः। अकाम सर्वकामो वा मोक्षकाम उदारधि तीव्रेण भक्ति योगेन यजेत पुरुषं परम्। अहम् एवासमेवाग्रे नान्यद्यत्सद् असत्परम् पश्चादहं यदेतच्च यो वशिष्येत सोऽस्म्यहम्। हृत्यर्थं यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः। यथा महान्ति भूतानि भूतेषु चावशेषनु प्रविष्टानि प्रविष्टानि तथा तेषु न तेषुहम्। एतावद् एव जिज्ञास्यं तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः अन्वयव्यतिरेकाभ्यां यत् स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा। अत्र सर्गो विसर्गश्च स्थानं पोषणम् ऊतयः मन्वन्तरेशानुकथा निरोधो मुक्तिराश्रयः। तथैव चान्ये नरलोकवीरा य आहवे कृष्णमुखारविन्दम् नेत्रे पिबन्तो नयनाभिरामं पार्थास्त्रपूतः पदमापुरस्य। अहो बकीयं स्तनकालकूटं जिघांसयापाय यदप्यसाध्वी लेभे गतिं धात्र्युचितां ततोऽन्यं कं वा दयालुं शरणं व्रजेम। अशेषसङ्क्लेशशमं विधत्ते गुणानुवाद श्रवणं मुरारे किं वा पुनस्तच्चरणारविन्द परागसेवारतिरात्मलब्धा। सोऽहं नृणां शूल्यसुखाय दुःखं महद्गतानां विरमाय तस्य प्रवर्तये भागवतं पुराणं यदाह साक्षात् भगवान् ऋषिभ्यः। त्वं भक्तियोगपरिभावितरित्सरोज आस्ये श्रुतेक्षितपथो ननु नाथ पुंसाम् यद्यद्धियात उरुगाय विभावयन्ति तत्तद्वपु प्रणयसे सदनुग्रहाय। सोऽसावदभ्रकरुणो भगवान् विवृद्धः प्रेमस्मितेन नयनाम्बुरुहं विजृम्भन् उत्थाय विश्वविजयाय च नो विषादं माद्व्यागिरापनयतात् पुरुषः पुराणः। ससर्जाग्रन्थतामिस्रम् अथत्तामिस्रमाधिकृत् महामोहं च मोहं च तमश्च ज्ञानवृत्तयः। तस्यारविन्दनयनस्य पदारविन्द किञ्जल्कमिश्रतुलसी मकरन्दवायुः अन्तर्गतस्वविवरेण चकार तेषां संक्षोभमक्षरजुषामपि चित्ततन्वो। नेह यत्कर्मधर्माय न विरागाय कल्पते न तीर्थपदसेवायै जीवनपि मृतो हि सः। प्रसङ्गमजरं पाशम् आत्मनः कवयो विदुः स एव साधुषु कृतो मोक्षद्वारम् अपावृतम्। तितिक्षवः कारुणिका सुहृदः सर्वदेहिनाम् अजातशत्रवः शान्ताः साधवः साधुभूषणाः सतां प्रसङ्गान् मम वीर्यसंविदो भवन्ति हृत्कर्णरसायना कथा तज्जोषणादाशपवर्गवर्त्मनि श्रद्धारतिर्भक्तिरनुक्रमिष्यति। हासं हरेरवतनाखिललोकतीव्र हासं हरेरवनताखिललोकतीव्र शोकाश्रुसागरविशोषणमत्युदारम् सम्मोहनाय रचितं निजमाययास्य भ्रूमण्डलं मुनिकृते मकरध्वजस्य। मद्गुणश्रुतिमात्रेण मयि सर्वगुहाशये मनोगतिरविच्छिन्ना यथा गङ्गाम्भसोऽम्बुदौ। लक्षणं भक्तियोगस्य निर्गुणस्य उदाहृतम् अहैतुक्यव्यवहिता या भक्ति पुरुषोत्तमे। सालोक्यसारष्टिसामीप्य सारूप्यैकत्वमपि उत दीयमानं न गृह्णन्ति विना जनाः। यन्नामधेयश्रवणानुकीर्तनाद्यत्प्रवलनाद्यत्स्मरणादपि क्वचित् स्वादोऽपि सद्यसवनाय कल्पते कुतः पुनस्ते भगवन्नुदर्शनात्। अहो पतश्व पचतो गरीयान् यज्जिह्वाग्रे वर्तते नाम तुभ्यं ते पुस्तपस्ते जुहुवु सस्नुरार्या ब्रह्मानुचुर्नाम गृह्णन्ति ये ते। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna dear devotees. We are continuing our study of Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 22, entitled The Marriage of Kardama Muni and Mother Devahuti. Text 26, 27 onwards. Again, this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 22, text 26 and 27. आमन्त्र्य तं मुनिवरम् अनुज्ञात सहानुगः प्रथस्थे रथम् आरुह्य सभार्य स्वपुरं नृपः उभयोर्ऋषिकुल्यायाः सरस्वत्याः सुरोधसोः ऋषीणाम् उपशान्तानां पश्चन् आश्रम Sampadaha. Translations and purports by our beloved founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, Srila Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation of Srimad Bhagavatam 3.22.26 and 27. After asking and obtaining the great sage's permission to leave, the monarch Sri Swayambhuva Manu mounted his chariot with his wife Shatarupa and started for his capital, followed by his retinue. Along the way, he saw the prosperity of the tranquil seer's beautiful hermitages on both the charming banks of the river Saraswati, the river so agreeable to saintly persons. Shri Swayambhuva Manu, along with his wife Shatarupa and daughter Devahuti, came to the humble abode of Sri Kardama Muni. And Swayambhuva Manu, who was the emperor of the world, offered his daughter Devahuti in marriage to Kardama Muni. Kardama Muni, noting the good qualities of Srimati Devahuti Devi, happily accepted her as his wife. Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa Devi handed over their daughter Devahuti to Kardama Muni in marriage, along with dowry consisting of gold, golden ornaments, jewels, clothes, etc. Then Swayambhu Manu, in today's verse, he is mounting his chariot along with his wife Shatarupa and going back to his capital. While going back on both the banks of the charming river Saraswati, Swayambhu Manu noted the hermitages of very advanced saintly persons. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, As cities are constructed in the modern age with great engineering and architectural craftsmanship, so in days gone by, there were neighborhoods called Rishikulas where great saintly persons resided. Here it is said in the word, in the verse, Ubhayoh Rishi Kulyaya Saraswatya. On the banks of the Saraswati river, there were Rishi Kula. Like we have Guru Kul, Rishi Kul. The rishis lived there. In India, Srila Prabhupada continues in the purport. In India, there are still many magnificent places for spiritual understanding. There are many rishis and saintly persons living in nice cottages on the banks of Ganga and Yamuna for the purposes of spiritual cultivation. While passing through the Rishikulas, King Swayambhuva Manu and his party were very much satisfied with the beauty of the cottages and hermitages. It is said here, Paschan Ashrama Sampada. The great sages had no skyscrapers, but the hermitages were so beautiful that the king was very much pleased at the sight. Text 28. Tam ayantam abhipreत्य ब्रह्मा वर्तात प्रजापतिम गीता संस्तुति वादित्रैः प्रत्युदीयु प्रहर्षिताः. The capital of Swayambhuva Manu was Brahmavarta. Translation. Overjoyed to know of his arrival, Swayambhuva Manu's subjects came forth from Brahmavarta to greet their returning Lord with songs, prayers, and musical instruments. Everyone loved Swayambhuva Manu. When he came back to Brahmavarta, all the citizens happily welcomed him with songs, prayers, and musical instruments. Purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, it is the custom of the citizens of a kingdom's capital to receive the king when he returns from a tour. This reception should be given to great personalities. There is a similar description when Krishna returned to Dwarka after the battle of Kurukshetra. Yes, we read that in the first canto. At that time, Krishna was received by all the classes of citizens at the gate of the Dwarka city. Here also, the citizens of Barhishmati, the capital of Brahmavarta, the kingdom of Swayambhuva Manu, came nicely dressed to receive the emperor with decorations and musical instruments. There must have been some kirtan with musical instruments and everything. Texts 29 and 30. Barhishmati Namapuri Sarvasampat Samanvita Nyapatanyatra Romani Yajnasyangam Vidhunvataha Kusha Kashasta Evasan Shashvad Haritavarchasaha ऋषयो ये पराभाव्य यज्ञ ज्ञान यज्ञ ईजिरे. Sri Maitreya Muni is describing this to Mahatma Vidur and telling us that the city of Barhishmati, rich in all kinds of wealth, was so called because Lord Vishnu's hair dropped there from his body when he manifested himself as Lord Varahadev, the boar incarnation. Just few hair that were shed from the transcendental body of Lord Varahadev. The city of Barhishmati had all kinds of wealth. As Lord Varahadev shook his body, this very hair fell and turned into blades of evergreen kusha grass or kasha, another kind of grass used for mats. by means of which the sages worshipped Lord Vishnu after defeating the demons who had interfered with the performance of their sacrifice. So, this is the power of Lord Varahadev just shaking his body. Few hair fell, and it was a source of all wealth. Nice kusha grass for worship of Lord Vishnu in this place called Barhishmati, where Swayambhuva Manu lived. Purport: any place directly connected to the Supreme Lord is called Peethasthan. Any place directly connected to Lord Krishna is called Peethasthan. Barhishmati, the capital of Swayambhuva Manu, was exalted not because the city was rich in wealth and opulence, but because the hairs of Lord Varahadev fell at this very spot. These hairs of the Lord later grew as green grass, and the sages used to worship Lord Vishnu with that grass after the time when Lord Varahadev killed the demon Hiranyaksha. So, this is the significance. And of course, in this city of Barhishmati, so many nice sacrifices, yajnas were being performed as an offering to Lord Vishnu. Because Lord Vishnu is Yajna. He is the Yajna Purush. He is the Yajnesh, the Lord of all Yajna. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices. Text 31. Kusha kasha mayam barhir आस्तीर्य भगवान मनु अयजद यज्ञ पुरुषम लब्धा स्थानम यतो भुवम. Swayambhuva Manu spread a seat of kushas and kashas and worshipped Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, by whose grace he had obtained the rule of the terrestrial globe. Sthanam yataha bhuvam. That Yajna Purush Vishnu he worshipped. Iyajat. Iyajat means to worship. And Manu here refers to Swayambhuva Manu. So in this way, Swayambhuva Manu performed worship of Lord Vishnu. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, Manu is the father of mankind, and therefore from Manu comes the word man, or in Sanskrit, Manushya. Those who are in a better position in the world, having sufficient wealth, should especially take lessons from Manu, who acknowledged his kingdom and opulence to be gifts from the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus always engaged in devotional service. How great is Manu Maharaj! Therefore, Sri Swayambhuva Manu is one of the 12 Mahajans. Srila Prabhupada writes in the last sentence of the purport, if one wants to be happy and peaceful in this position, in his position, either as a householder or citizen or member of human society, in whatever situation we are in, if we want to be peaceful and happy, one must promote devotional service for the pleasure of the Lord. We must practice bhakti because bhakti pleases Krishna. As Srila Rupa Goswami says, Bhakti atushyati kevalam nacha gunay, bhakti priyo madhava. Only bhakti is dear to Krishna. Text 32. Barhishmatim nama vibhur yam nirvishya samavasat tasyam pravishto bhagavan tapatraya vinashanam. Having entered the city of Barhishmati, in which he had previously lived, Sri Swayambhuva Manu entered his palace, which was filled with an atmosphere that eradicated the three miseries of material existence. So, as Swayambhuva Manu entered his capital city of Barhishmati, he entered his palace, and his palace was filled with spiritual atmosphere. Spiritual atmosphere. So that there is no material suffering. Tapatraya Vinashanam. What are the threefold miseries? Who knows? Please raise your hand. Yes, Ajay going Prabhu.
जी, आदि भौतिक, आध्यात्मिक एंड आदि दैविक।
Yes, very nice. Satyabhamaji, please explain what each type is for all of us.
Hare Krishna Babaji. Adi Bhautik is that which is caused because of the other living entities to us. Adi Daivik is the natural calamities which we don't have control over. And Adhyatmik is because of our own body which we is caused.
Very nice. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
So, as soon as Swayambhuva Manu entered his palace in his capital city of Barishmati, the palace of Swayambhuva Manu was such a spiritually surcharged place that Tapatraya Vinashanam. These miseries did not exist. Miseries caused by one's own body and mind, miseries caused by other living entities, and miseries caused by natural disasters. None of this existed. Everything was peaceful and happy in his kingdom. Purport. Srila Prabhupada says the material world is filled with threefold miseries. Human society is meant to create a spiritual atmosphere by spreading the spirit of Krishna consciousness. The miseries of material existence cannot affect the status of Krishna consciousness. So, Krishna consciousness is the only solution. It is not that the miseries of the material world completely vanish when one takes to Krishna consciousness. But for one who is Krishna conscious, the miseries of material existence have no effect. We cannot stop the miseries of the spiritual atmosphere. We cannot stop the miseries of the material atmosphere, but Krishna consciousness is the antiseptic method to protect us from being affected by the miseries of material existence. For a Krishna conscious person, both in heaven and in hell, they are equal. How Swayambhuva Manu created an atmosphere wherein he was not affected by material miseries is explained in the below verses. How did Swayambhuva Manu attain this state? Text 33. Sabharya sapraja kamam बुभुजेन्याविरोधतः संगीयमाना सत्कीर्ति शस्त्रिभिः सुरगायकैः प्रत्युषेष अनुबद्धेन हृदा शृण्वन् हरे कथाः. Emperor Swayambhuva Manu enjoyed life with his wife Shatarupa and subjects and fulfilled his desires without being disturbed by unwanted principles contrary to the process of religion. Celestial musicians and their wives sang in chorus about the pure reputation of Emperor Swayambhuva Manu, and early in the morning every day he used to listen to the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with a loving heart. So beautiful. This is Swayambhuva Manu, how devoted he is. He would rise early, even though he was the emperor, he was rise early and listen to the pastime of the Supreme Lord. Rida Shrinvan Hare Katha. He would listen with his heart. Rida Shrinvan Hare Katha. With the heart she used to hear, with attention. Many times we hear a class, and when we are asked how was the class, we say very good. But more important than just saying very good is to reflect, what did I learn from this class today? One thing, what did I learn? Something that I can apply in my life, something that can transform me. That is the meaning of real hearing. Otherwise, we can hear lecture after lecture after lecture, and then it comes out from the other ear. That will also not help. Emperor Swayambhuva Manu enjoyed life with his wife and subjects and fulfilled his desires without being disturbed by unwanted principles, which are contrary to the process of religion. Lord Krishna also says that we have to not break the religious principles. Balam balavatam chaham kama raga vivarjitam dharma aviruddha bhuteshu kamosmin bharatarshava. Dharma aviruddha. Our activities should be not contrary to religious principles. So that we have to take care. Then celestial musicians, means all these Gandharvas, and their wives sang in chorus about the pure reputation of Emperor Swayambhuva Manu. And early in the morning, every day, he used to listen to the pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This hearing is very important. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, human society is actually meant for realization of perfection in Krishna consciousness. That is the purpose of human society. There is no restriction against living with a wife and children. How many of us have spouse and children? Srila Prabhupada says there is no problem, no restriction. But life should be conducted in such a way that one may not go against the principles of dharma. The Vedic principles are designed in such a way that the conditioned souls who have come into this material existence may be guided on their way back to Godhead. It is understood that Emperor Swayambhuva Manu enjoyed his household life by following these principles. Everything is controlled. Eating is controlled, not that because I am the king I can eat anything. Sleeping is controlled. Entertainment is controlled. Everything is controlled. Then Srila Prabhupada says, as far as temples are concerned, in each and every royal palace or rich man's house, inevitably there is a nice temple. And the members of the household rise early in the morning and go to the temple to see Mangalarti ceremony. The Mangalarti ceremony is the first worship of the morning. In the Arti ceremony, a light ghee lamp is offered in circles before the deities, as well as conch shell, flowers, and fan. The Lord is supposed to rise early in the morning and take some light refreshment and give audience to the devotees. The devotees then go back to the house and sing the glories of the Lord in the temple. The early morning ceremony still takes place in Indian temples and palaces. Now, this is very important. Temples are meant for the assembly of the general public. This is important. Temples are educational, spiritually educational institutions. Education institution. Further down, Srila Prabhupada says, if one gets the opportunity to take birth in these families where deity worship is going on, he can achieve the facilities of a Krishna conscious atmosphere without difficulty. A child born in that Krishna atmosphere is sure to develop Krishna consciousness. The perfection which he failed to attain in his last life is again offered in this life, and he can make himself perfect without fail. A child born in Krishna conscious atmosphere is sure to develop Krishna consciousness. We see this time and again. Our ISKCON children, they may, because of peer pressure, because of conditionings, because of so much social pressure around them, they may appear to leave Krishna consciousness. But many times we see when they come in their 20s, 30s, or even 40s sometimes, they understand that Krishna consciousness is the right process and they come back to Krishna consciousness. This has been seen again and again. Text 34. Why this happens? Because they have tasted Krishna consciousness. Any material pleasure, they are going to compare it to Krishna consciousness. And nothing matches Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada called Krishna consciousness the matchless gift. Text 34. Nishnatam yoga mayasu munim swayam bhuvam manu yad abram shaitum bhoga nashekur bhagavat param. Thus, Swayambhuva Manu was a saintly king. He was saintly king. Muni Swayambhuva. He was as good as a Muni, Swayambhuva Manu. Although absorbed in material happiness, he was not dragged to the lowest grade of life, for he always enjoyed his material happiness in a Krishna conscious atmosphere. This is very important. We can enjoy, but enjoyment should be in a Krishna conscious way. So Swayambhuva Manu enjoyed his position as a king, but in a Krishna conscious way. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the kingly happiness of material enjoyment generally drags one to the lowest grade of life. Degradation, person becomes animal in the next life. But Swayambhuva Manu was considered as good as saintly sage because the atmosphere created in his kingdom and home was completely Krishna conscious. This is the duty, to create a completely Krishna conscious atmosphere at home. Further down, it is said that Krishna consciousness does not stop them in their propensity for material enjoyment, but simply regulates their habits in the life of sense enjoyment. In spite of their enjoying the material advantages, they can be liberated in this very life by practicing Krishna consciousness by simple method of chanting the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simple process to awaken our Krishna consciousness. 35. Ayatayamas tasyasam yamaswantara yapana shrunvato dhyayato vishnu kurvato bruvata katha. Consequently, although his duration of life gradually came to an end, his long life, consisting of a Manvantar era, was not spent in vain, since he ever engaged, always engaged in hearing, contemplating, writing down, and chanting the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Shrunvato, Dhyayato Vishnu. This is very important. And Kurvato Katha, doing Krishna Katha, speaking about Krishna, thinking about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, very important. Shrunvato, Dhyayato Vishnu. Consequently, although this duration of life gradually came to an end, his long life, consisting of Manvantar, was not spent in vain, since he ever engaged in hearing, chanting, contemplating, and reciting the pastimes of the Lord. So, in this way, Manu Maharaj, he lived for one full Manvantar, which is 71 Divya Yuga cycles. 71 cycles of Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. 71 of those is one lifetime of one Manu. Swayambhu Manu lived for one Manvantar, but his time was not. So one may say, oh, he lived for so many years. No, time was not wasted because he was engaged in hearing, contemplating, writing down, and chanting the pastimes. Srila Prabhupada says, a freshly prepared food is very tasteful, but if kept for 3 or 4 hours, becomes stale and tasteless. So the existence of material enjoyment can endure as long as life is fresh. But at the fag end of life, everything becomes tasteless and everything appears to be in vain and painful. The life of Emperor Swayambhu Manu, however, was not tasteless. He had taste in Krishna consciousness. The life of a man in Krishna consciousness is always fresh. Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam. So Manu Maharaj's life was not wasted because he engaged his time in Krishna consciousness, chanting, hearing, thinking. Text 36. Sa evam swantaram ninye yuganam eka saptatim vasudeva prasangena paribhuta gati trayaha. Sri Swayambhu Manu passed his time, which lasted 21 cycles of the 4 ages. 71 cycles of the 4 ages. 71 cycles of the 4 ages. Always thinking of Lord Vasudeva and always engaged in matters regarding Vasudeva. Thus he transcended the 3 destinations. Upper, middle, lower. He transcended, means he didn't have to go. He was transferred to the kingdom of Vishnu. Purport. Srila Prabhupada says the three destinations are meant for persons who are under the control of three modes of material nature. These destinations sometimes described as the awakened, dreaming, and conscious stages. Jagrit, Swapna, Susupti. In Bhagavad Gita, the three destinations are described as the destinations of persons in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that those who are in the mode of goodness are promoted to better living conditions in higher planes, higher planets. And those who are in the mode of passion remain within the material world on the earth or heavenly planets. Those are in the mode of passion. But those who are in the mode of ignorance, they are degraded to animal life on planets where life is lower than humans. So those who don't think of Krishna, they are wasting their life. And if they perform activities in the mode of passion, they will stay here, may have to do more business and earn money. But those who are in the mode of ignorance, they become animals in their next life. And Srila Prabhupada says, therefore, one who is fully engaged in devotional service is always liberated. Why? Because we'll be always speaking Krishna Katha, Krishna Nam. Sharira manasa divya vayase ye cha manushaha bhautikascha katham klesha badnate hari samshrayam. Hari samshrayam means samyak rupana ashraya of Hari, having taken complete shelter of Lord Krishna. Therefore, O Vidura, Sri Maitreya Muni is saying, therefore, O Vidura, Mahatma Vidur, how can persons completely enter the shelter of Lord Krishna in devotional service be put into miseries pertaining to the body, mind, and nature, and other men and living creatures? Maitreya asking, O Vidur, how can a person who has Hari Samshrayam, who has taken shelter of Lord Hari, how can there be sufferings for such a person? Now, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, every living entity within this material world is always afflicted by some kinds of miseries, pertaining either to the body or mind or natural disturbances. Sometimes we are sick and our body gives us pain. Sometimes body is fine, but the mind is not fine. Sometimes body and mind both are fine. But then there are natural disasters like tsunamis, earthquakes, hurricanes, flood, extreme cold. So all of us are suffering in this world. Srila Prabhupada further writes, distresses due to cold in winter and severe heat in summer always inflict miseries on the living entities in this material world. But one who has completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna in Krishna consciousness is in the transcendental stage. Mam evaya prapadyante mayamitam tarantite. He is not disturbed by any miseries, either due to the body, mind, or natural disturbance of summer and winter. He is transcendental to all these miseries. Why? Because he is in touch with Krishna, experiencing a different bliss. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shoshati na kamshati. And second last verse for today, 38. Ya prishto muni bhipraha dharman nana vidhan shubhan nrinam varnashramanam cha sarvabhuta hita sada. In reply to questions asked by certain sages, Sri Swayambhuva Manu, out of compassion for all living entities, taught the diverse sacred duties of men in general and the different varnas and different ashramas. Swayambhuva Manu, when he was questioned, he also gave nice class explaining varnashram dharma. Text 39. Etat आदिराजस्य मनोश्चरितमद्भुतं वर्णितं वर्णनीयस्य तद apatyoddayam shrunu. I have spoken to you of the wonderful character of Sri Swayambhuva Manu, the original king, Ādi Raja, whose reputation is worthy of description. Manos Charitam Adbhutam, worthy of description. Wonderful character. Please hear as I speak of the flourishing of his daughter Devahuti. Now, Sri Maitreya Muni is going to describe to Mahatma Vidur about Udayam, the flourishing of Devahuti. Please hear, he says. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, 22nd chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Marriage of Sri Kardama Muni and Mother Devahuti. Chapter 23, Hare Krishna. Chapter 23 is entitled Devahuti's Lamentation. Shri Maitreya Uvacha Pitribhyam Prasthite Sadhvi Patim Ingita Kovida Nityam Paryacharat Pritya Bhavaniva Bhavam Prabhum. Shri Maitreya Muni continued, speaking to Mahatma Vidur. After the departure of her parents, the chaste woman Devahuti, who could understand the desires of her husband, served her husband Kardama Muni constantly with great love, as Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva, serves Lord Shiva. Just like Bhavani. Bhavaniva, as if she is Mother Parvati serving Lord Shiva. Devahuti served her husband Kardam Muni. The parents handed over Devahuti to the parents, to Swayambhuva Manu, beg your pardon, to Kardama Muni, and then Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa went back. Then Devahuti took over the service of her husband, Kardama Muni, and served Kardama Muni with great faith and love. Purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, a specific example of Bhavani is very significant. Bhavani means the wife of Bhava or Lord Shiva. Bhavani or Parvati, the daughter of the king of Himalayas, selected Lord Shiva, who appears to be just like a beggar, as her husband. Haribol. In spite of her being a princess, she undertook all kinds of tribulations to associate with Lord Shiva, who did not even have a house, but was sitting underneath the trees and passing his time in meditation. Although Bhavani was a daughter of a very great king, she used to serve Lord Shiva just like a poor woman. Similarly, Devahuti, the daughter of an emperor, Swayambhuva Manu, she preferred to accept Kardama Muni as her husband. She served him with great love and affection and she knew how to please him. Therefore, she is designated here as Sadhvi, which means a chaste, faithful wife. Sadhvi. Very beautiful word, Sadhvi. Pitribhyam prasthite Sadhvi. Pitribhyam prasthite means when the parents prasthan kiye. Sadhvi. Patim ingita kovida. She was expert in understanding the indications of her husband. It's very nice. Now Srila Prabhupada writes about Grahastha Ashram. Please listen carefully. Unmarried girls worship Lord Shiva so that they can expect a husband who is as good a Vaishnava as Lord Shiva. Girls are not taught to select a husband who is very rich or very opulent for material sense gratification. No, girls should not choose husband because the husband is rich. Where was I? If a girl is fortunate enough to get a husband as good as Lord Shiva in devotional service, then her life becomes perfect. To get a devotee husband or a devotee wife is really a very big blessing. The wife is dependent on the husband, and if the husband is a Vaishnava, then naturally she shares the devotional service of the husband because she renders him service. This reciprocation of service and love between husband and wife is the ideal of a householder life. Husband assists wife in becoming more and more Krishna conscious. Wife assists the husband in becoming more and more Krishna conscious. That is very good. Text 2. Vishrambhenatma shauchena gauravena damena cha shushrusaya sauridena vacha madhuraya cha bho. O Mahatma Vidur, Shri Maitreya Muni is saying, Devahuti served her husband with intimacy, Vishrambhena, is with intimacy, and with great respect, Gauravena. With great respect, she um, served her husband. And who control of the senses with love and with sweet words. Devahuti served her husband with intimacy and great respect, with control of the senses, with love, and with sweet words. These are the ways in which Devahuti served her husband. Vishrambhena with intimacy, Atma Shauchana with purity of mind and body, Gauravena with great respect, Damena controlling her senses, Shushrushaya with service attitude, Sauhridena with love and friendship, Vacha words, Madhuraya sweet words. Very sweet words Devahuti spoke to her husband. She never spoke harshly to her husband. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada makes a very important point. Here are two words, very significant. Devahuti served her husband in two ways, Vishrambhena and Gauravena. What is Vishrambhena? What is Gauravena? These are two important processes in serving the husband, who is goddess of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vishrambhena means with intimacy, and Gauravena means with great reverence. The husband is a very intimate friend, therefore, the wife must render service just like an intimate friend. And at the same time, she must understand that the husband is superior in position. And thus, she must offer him all respect. A man's psychology and woman's psychology are different. As constituted by bodily frame, the man always wants to be superior to his wife, and a woman, as bodily constituted, is naturally inferior to her husband. Thus, the natural instinct is that the husband wants to post himself as superior to the wife, and this must be observed. Even if there is some wrong on the part of the husband, the wife must tolerate it, and thus there will be no misunderstanding between husband and wife. Vishrambhena means with intimacy, but it most but it must not be familiarity that breeds contempt. We have to serve with intimacy, but not that we become familiar, and then our behavior becomes contemptible. According to the Vedic civilization, a wife cannot call her husband by name. In the present civilization, the wife calls her husband by name. But in Hindu civilization, she does not. Srila Radha Govind Maharaj tells the story that when he came to US, he was picked up in a particular city by the host. He had come to do Bhagavad Saptaha in US. He was picked up in the airport, at the airport, by their host, husband and wife. And Srila Radha Govind Maharaj was sitting in the passenger seat, and the husband was driving, and the wife was sitting behind. And the wife told the husband, "Okay, take this way, it is faster." And the husband said, "No, this way is faster to the home." And there was some argument between husband and wife. And then the husband, something happened, and then the husband told something to the wife after their argument. And from behind, the wife yelled, "Mansukh, shut up!" And this is Srila Radha Govind Maharaj, a pure Vaishnava from Vrindavan. He has all this culture, and imagine he's hearing the wife yelling at the husband, "Shut up, Mansukh!" So then Maharaj was said, I was very shocked that this is the culture of America. And then they went little bit ahead, and again there was some road rage. So the road rage was also with a woman, and this woman was driving a car, and there was some road rage. So when the car stopped at a traffic signal, this big lady came out of the car with a plastic water bottle in her hand, started hitting on the windshield of of the car where Srila Radha Govind Maharaj was traveling, and she started cussing bad words. And Srila Radha Govind Maharaj was saying, "This was my experience of America," and I was thinking I should go back to Vrindavan. What is this country? This woman just got out of the car and she's hitting our windshield with plastic bottle because she's angry. But this is not our culture. Our culture is Vishrambhena Gauravena. The wife serves the husband with intimacy, Vishrambhena, and with respect, Gauravena, so that there is no familiarity breeding contempt. And on the other hand, the husband takes care of the wife. He protects the wife, provides for the wife, materially and spiritually. Materially gives all the facilities, keeps her comfortable, and spiritually gives opportunities to the wife to hear Harikatha. That is very important. And then Damenacha, a wife has to learn to control herself, even if there is misunderstanding. Damenacha, to control oneself, even when there is provocation. Srila Prabhupada in the Krishna book writes, the greatness of a person has to be estimated by how? Raise your hand. Who remembers? How greatness of a person has to be estimated? Srila Prabhupada writes, by how we tolerate provoking situations. Sauridena vacha madhuraya. This is very important. Sri Maitreya Muni is describing that Devahuti served her husband with Sauradena Vacha Madhuraya, means always desiring good for the husband and speaking to him with sweet words. Vacha Madhuraya. Speaking sweet words and always desiring good for the husband. Not that the husband doesn't listen, so ja mar ja. No, always desiring good for the husband and speaking sweet words. A person becomes agitated by so many material contacts in the outside world. Therefore, in his home life, he must be treated by his wife with sweet words. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I'm enjoying this purport so much. So Srila Prabhupada says that the husband, he works outside, he faces so many stressful elements. So when he comes home, the wife should treat the husband very sweet words. Because in the office, the boss might have yelled at the husband. There might have been so much stress. When he comes home, also if the wife yells, then what? What will the husband do? So a person becomes agitated by so many material contacts in the outside world. Therefore, in his home life, he must be treated by the wife with sweet words. Srila Prabhupada is teaching us these simple things, but they are part of our culture and they are important. Srila Prabhupada said, you can know my disciples because they are perfect gentlemen and ladies. They are gentle in their behavior. That's how you can know my disciples, Srila Prabhupada said. So because we represent Srila Prabhupada, we should be very careful how we behave. Text 3. Visrijya kamam dambham cha dvesham lobham agham madam apramattodhyata nityam teji yamsam atoshayat. This is very important. Working sanely and diligently, Devahuti pleased her very powerful husband, Teji Asam, means very powerful husband, giving up all lust, pride, envy, greed, sinful activities, and vanity. Visrijya means she gave up what? Kam, lust, Dambha, pride that I am the daughter of the king of the world, Dvesh, any envy, Lobh, any greed for possessions, Agham, sinful activities, Madam, vanity, Aparamatta, she was very sane, and Udyata, she was working very hard, and Nityam, she was always like that, working very hard for the husband, giving up her own personal desires, and served Nityam Teji Amsam Atoshayat. Atoshayat means she satisfied her husband in every way. She worked very sanely, very diligently. Devahuti. See how Devahuti is serving her husband, all of us, we have to serve Shri Guru and Krishna. Hari Bol. Because ultimately, Krishna is Jagatpate. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deena Bandho Jagatpati. Krishna is Jagatpati. Kardama Muni is Devahutipati. Krishna is Jagatpati. So Devahuti Devi is teaching us how we should serve our Guru, because husband is like a Guru. So we should serve our Guru like that. We should serve the senior Vaishnavas like that. We should serve Krishna like that. How Devahuti is serving. Purport. Srila Prabhupada says, here are some of the qualities of a great husband's wife. Kardama Muni is great by spiritual qualification. Such a husband is called Tejiyam. Tejiyam, some means very, very powerful. Kardama Muni was no ordinary person. He was very powerful spiritually. Prabhupada says sometimes it happens that the wife comes from a very rich family, as Devahuti did, the daughter of Swayambhu Manu. She could have been very proud of her parentage, but that is forbidden. Can you all give me some example of this from Mahabharata, of a chaste wife? Yes, Shama Vallavi Mataji.
Draupadi Prabhuji.
In what way?
She was from a rich family, then she was abiding to all her husbands.
Very good point. Draupadi Devi, Srimati Draupadi Devi, was the daughter of Drupad Maharaj. Therefore, she was called Draupadi. She was daughter of Drupad Maharaj. Drupad Maharaj was a very powerful king. But still, Draupadi did not hesitate to marry Arjun and then all the five brothers, even though they were living in the forest. And later on, also, they were exiled to the forest. Again, she did not mind being with her husbands in the forest. Also, I was thinking of another example. Yes, Ajay Govind Prabhu.
Guruji, I was thinking of Gandhari who married
Yes,
Dhritarashtra, who was blind, and then she blindfolded her eyes, which was a great sacrifice of at least the material opulence, and not in terms of money, but the physical abilities.
absolutely. Yes, I was also thinking of the same example that she didn't want to be better than her husband in any way. Husband is blind, so she voluntarily accepted blindness. Yes. Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Not in Mahabharata,
Can't hear Mataji.
not in Mahabharata Prabhuji, but Mandodari was also very chaste, even in spite of being Ravana being very
Mandodari did what?
sorry. Even in spite of the husband being very disturbing, she was very faithful and she
Okay, yes.
always
Mandodari also, she is an example of a chaste wife. Yes, thank you. Now, Srila Prabhupada writes further, the most sinful activity for a wife is to accept another husband or another lover. Chanakya Pandit has described four kinds of enemies at home. If the father is in debt, he is considered to be an enemy. Rini Karta Pita Shatru, Sri Chanakya Pandit says. The father should be debt free. If the father has debts and then the son inherits those debts, then the father is enemy. Rini Karta Pita. Nowadays, everybody, all the children inherit the mortgage loan of the father. Then, if the mother has selected another husband in the presence of her grown up children, Mata, so Rini Karta Pita Shatru, uh, Mata Vyabhicharini. A Vyabhicharini Mata is a enemy. Unchaste mother, a mother who has another lover other than the father, that mother is an enemy, should be considered enemy. If a wife does not live well with her husband, but deals very roughly, ऋणी करता पिता शत्रु माता व्यभिचारिणी. I am forgetting the next lines. But yes, the wife, ha, bharyacha apriyavadini. If the bharya, the wife is apriyavadini, if she speaks roughly with the husband, she is also an enemy. And if a son is a fool, he is also an enemy. Um, Putra Shatru Apandita. If the Putra is a Pandit, then the son is also considered an enemy. Chanakya Pandit says. In family life, father, mother, wife, and children are assets. But if the wife or mother accepts another husband in the presence of her husband or son, then according to Vedic civilization, she is considered enemy. A chaste and faithful woman must not practice adultery. That is a greatly sinful act. So, Shri Devahuti Mata is such a chaste wife, such a glorious woman, such an ideal example that she came from a palace where she's playing ball on the terrace and has so many maidservants, all comforts, luxuries. But when she gets married, she starts living just like her husband, serving her husband without thinking of herself. Really, when we read this in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is incomprehensible how someone can make such a 360-degree change. Such a drastic change that you're living in palace one day and same day, because you're married, you start living like a saintly woman with no possessions, a mendicant living under a tree. Such a austere life. Imagine, we are used to having breakfast, lunch, dinner. As the wife of Kardama Muni, there is no guarantee. He may be in meditation for 2 days, 3 days, and she would not eat without feeding him. So, can you all give me an example of something from the Shastra, somebody making such a drastic change? One example that comes to my mind is Lakshahira, the prostitute, who came to spoil the reputation of Thakur Haridas. She was chanting 0 rounds. And when Srila Haridas Thakur initiated her on day one, she started chanting 3 lakh, 192 rounds. Just think about that. We start with 1 round, 2 rounds, 4 rounds. Slowly, we come to 16 rounds. Lakshahira started from 0 rounds straight to 3 lakh and never broke her vow. Such determination. So when we hear such stories from the Shastra, it should give us inspiration. Inspiration. Srila Prabhupada also. He was in a family life. He had 3 children. He had a wife. And he suddenly took Vanaprastha and then sannyas and lived a life of great difficulty and austerity for a higher purpose. For a higher purpose, to serve his Gurudev, to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So with that, I will stop. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We will continue our Bhakti Vaibhava course next week. And Shama Vallavi Mataji, you have some question or comment?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I thought of Sita Devi also. She was leading a comfortable life as soon as Dasarath Maharaj told gods for this Ram. Then she also accompanied Ram to the forest.
Excellent, excellent example. Yes, Srimati Sita Devi also. How she took on so much austerity. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also suddenly took sannyas at the age of 24. So many examples are there to inspire us. So thank you. We'll stop here. Any other questions?
Prabhuji, Swayambhuva Manu, Kardama Muni and all, they are sadhana siddhas, Prabhuji. They will not come back.
Swayambhuva Manu is an incarnation of Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, he is mentioned as one of the incarnations of Krishna. But he is Shaktyavesha avatar, empowered incarnation of Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, one request. I am in Mayapur. I do not know. After Gaura Purnima, I may come. Then I may go to Vrindavan also. So I have given the name for that presentation, but I have not selected the date. I myself do not know. I have not prepared also, Prabhuji. So I want some time.
No problem, Mataji. You can come
Thank
back
you.
and you can do it in the summer.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Bhagavati Vasudha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for this very, very wonderful class. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is, in sloka number 38, it was said that a devotee, Krishna conscious devotee, is in a transcendental stage. He is not disturbed by any miseries, either due to body, mind, or natural disturbances of summer and winter. Is transcendental to all these miseries. Can you please explain how is that he is not disturbed in he might not be disturbed in the mind, but still there is a disturbance that this his free seva is disturbed or it is not in the way that it has to be. How can he be without disturbance?
So those of you who could not hear, Mataji's question is, Prabhupada says that a transcendentalist, a spiritualist is not affected by the threefold miseries. He's transcendental to the threefold miseries. How is that? So yes, Mataji, the material body will deteriorate. The material body will go through the six transformations according to law of nature. Growth, birth, growth, byproducts, maintenance, dwindling, and death. These six transformations: birth, growth, producing byproducts, maintenance, dwindling, and death. These six transformations the human body will undergo, whether one is a devotee, a pure devotee, a non-devotee. That is just the law of nature. But you see, in the case of Srila Prabhupada, when Srila Prabhupada was in his last stages of illness, even from his bed, Srila Prabhupada was continuing his service. He was hearing, he was chanting, and he was translating. He was giving Bhaktivedanta purports also. That's what is meant by not affected. The service to Krishna goes on, either physically or mentally. Service to Krishna goes on. There is no change in that. Whereas in the material world, there is a break. If somebody is a big workaholic but falls sick, then he will not think of his company. He will take retirement and take his provident fund or whatever it is and enjoy with that money. But a spiritualist does not do that. There is no retirement. A spiritual warrior will fight Maya, will fight for Krishna till the very end. Srila Prabhupada said, I want to be like Arjun on the battlefield. So that is a meaning of material reversals, material changes, the six transformations of the body. Dwindling means old age, death. They don't affect a devotee because the devotee's devotional service continues uninterrupted. Ahetukya pratihata. Like that. Is that okay? It doesn't mean that a devotee will not feel sad or a devotee will not get sick or a devotee will not die or natural disasters will not affect a devotee. Hurricane comes or tsunami comes and whole city will be destroyed, but the devotee will not be destroyed. It's not like that. Or a plane will crash and everybody dies, but the devotee survives. That's not the meaning. The meaning is no matter what happens, the devotee's performance, execution of Krishna consciousness continues, either in body or in the mind. Srila Prabhupada, even in the end, he wanted to do Govardhan Parikrama. He wanted to visit his disciples in various temples. So Srila Prabhupada never, his devotional service never slackened. That is the meaning. Okay? Thank you. Okay, thank you, dear devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Tomorrow I'm going to New Jersey and I seek all of your blessings, please, so that I can serve the
Hare
devotees nicely there. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.